Knightsmith. Looks like we are live. A couple minutes late. Sorry about that. I do appreciate your waiting for me 2-3 minutes. So I tell you, Connor last night did not sleep. I love that child to death, but oh my god. Whew. Kid needs to learn how to sleep through the night. Or, at least more than 5 minutes at a time. Paste so the chat comes in when we're ready for that. So, how's everyone this morning? Hope everyone is having their coffee. I'm having some nice, hot, fresh Maxwell House coffee. Good to the last drop, they say. I mean, it's caffeine. It's hot. That's about it. Okay. So I hope everyone's having their coffee. Oh, come on. No, don't schedule the post. Go back. Things are a little twitchy, little weird, little glitchy this morning. What episode are we? 15, 16, 20? Who knows? Going to be an SD card. What is that thing going to be called? SD card wallet? SD card organizer? Yeah, let's call it that. Bloop. Yeah, that was loud. And post it to Knightsmith. All right. And we will post this to my public page. And we will share this to the Red Door Creative, and hopefully we get a few people who are interested. And my brother was thinking about joining us this morning, so let me send him the link. Oop. Send, and let's post this on Twitter. Maybe we can get a few peoples. Blah 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 blah. TWI. There we go. Knightsmith. Oh. Eileen already shared the post from Knightsmith. I guess she's with us this morning. Good morning. Hope you're having your coffee. Hope everyone's doing well today. Giveaway. I cannot spell worth a Dickens. Giveaway. Giveaway. What is giveaway? Tweeted delete. All right, got that person. Got that person. Bloop. Come on. Let's see, who's there? 3 people. Cool. Error. Not receiving enough video. Well, thank you. All right, so who is in here? All right, let's see. Eileen is in here. Holder. Yeah. SD card holder, organizer, wallet thing. To keep these little fuckers from disappearing, because they do all the time. Hey dude, morning Joe, how we doing today? All right, a couple people in the chat. Let's pop over to the chat screen. Okay. Yeah, SD card holder, SD card reader thing. I'm going to be modeling it based off my wallet. So my plan is to make this hold 12 of these little guys. So right now this one, this size, would only hold what? We could probably sneak 3 in there, but I need I want 12. So these leaves have to be wider, so it can hold 3 and 3, 3 and 3, and then I want to have a center pocket like that, sort of. And do you guys think it should have a back pocket as well? I think so. Doing right? Rough night last night. Well, what happened, buddy? Seems like we all had a bit of an evening. All right, now what else do I have to do? Oh, I have to get my phone set up to... Oh, Eileen, you commented on one of my things. Which one did you comment on? I actually have the YouTube Studio app on my phone now, which is kind of cool. I did not make this wallet. This is... I don't know what type of wallet this is. They usually have a maker's mark in here. This one doesn't. Just says genuine leather. I did not make this wallet. I am going to be making them soon. But I find the best thing to do is to kind of pattern off of something that's existing, so you have more of an idea of proportions and sizes until you understand yourself the fundamentals of what you're trying to make. This is also much thinner leather than I plan on using for my actual what you call it. Yeah, it's not working. Whatever. I'll figure it out later. Actually, does it pop up in here? Oh, you thank you for commenting on the mirror, Eileen. That was such a fun little project. Well, it was fun, and it was very, very vexing, because first off, I haven't done any glass work in maybe 4 years, 5 years. So you kind of forget what you're working with and how to work it if you don't do it so often, which is why I'm really enjoying the leather working, because I'm starting to get back into it. But with the glass working, the first thing is you need a special glass cutter, and the one I was using, I've had it for 8 years, and for whatever reason, when I put it to the glass and try to make my score, it just fell apart in my hands in like 6 or 7 different pieces. Like, how does that even happen? It was all cast metal. It just disintegrated. I wasn't even putting all that much pressure on it. So, and then my hand ended up, because that broke apart, my hand went into the glass, I punched the glass, it shattered. But it was kind of cool, and now I have all this extra mirror glass lying around, so I can do a lot of kind of smaller projects, but they're still glass, they're still fun. I might do a few of those in the future. Okay, so Droid Cam is what I use to make no, DroidCam is a free app I'm using on my phone. It allows me to use my phone as a webcam. It's free, but it's kind of a pain in the ass to get it set up. But once you have it set up, it's pretty awesome, actually. And this is what I use for my little mirrors. Would be cool. Yeah, they would. It's what I use for my project camera. Get that guy up there. Slide it over. Yeah, you'll be able to see that nicely. All right. Yeah, little mirrors would be cool. So, haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm gonna be having one of those, a little bagel, cinnamon raisin, because I'm fancy like that. And we'll see who shows up for this good morning. Hope my sister comes in so I could give a shout to my little nephew, Jacoby. There's 3 people in here. If you're whoever the third person is, say hello. Join us. Let's have some fun. Close that up. Oop. Okay, so quick little note about some stuff. I've actually been on a wee bit of a buying kick. So you might have been noticing that I have, all this white leather, and it's good. It's free. It's chrome tan though, which means it's chromium tanned. It's used for garment and upholstery. Yeah, me too. Which is fine for a lot of things. And a lot of things I do aren't critical. Like this is probably chrome tan. Super thin, very pliable. Chrome tan is usually relatively durable. But it's not the same as vegetable tan. So, and my wife picked out this color. I got a nice hide here. It says it is about, it says it's 2 to 2.5 ounces. Which I don't know if I believe that quite. And the difference is, chrome tan, like, I explained chrome tan, but veg tan is vegetable tanned. So it has, it's a different chemical makeup. And you can mold veg tan. It's also stiffer and more durable than chrome tan. So like if you have boots, they're mostly chrome tan or veg tan. A gun holster, veg tan, because it's molded. You can tool veg tan. You can't do that with chrome tan. And there's a few other tanning processes. There's alum tanning, which is aluminum sulfate, I believe. And then there's brain tanning. I went on into this a little bit more in detail a few days ago. But those are the main differences. And veg tan is more expensive than chrome tan. Chrome tan makes up about 75 to 85% of all the leather that's manufactured in the world annually. So the chrome tan is a little bit better, and it's a little bit cheaper, but the veg tan is definitely superior. Oh, cool. I'm not going to lie, I didn't know there were different types. And my brother just messaged me on Facebook. I am watching, but I'm not sure if it's showing me. It's showing you as being in the room, Ryan, but it is not showing any of your chats. So some of the more, some of the better, more high-end stuff is made out of veg tan. If not for the function of the veg tan itself, for the durability of it. So we're going to be making the SD card holder out of that nice veg tan. Usually you can get it either dye. Oh, another big difference. Chrome tan, you cannot dye. It comes whatever color it's dyed at the factory. That's what color it is. Veg tan, you can get it either dyed, like this is dyed, or you can get it natural and dye it yourself. Which I didn't want to go through the expense of getting plain veg tan and then having to buy all the different dyes and all the different accoutrement that goes with it. So I got one that was already dyed at the factory. If you're going to get into leather work, you can either do that way, or if you want to do a range of different products in different colors, you get one large plain skin, and then you buy the dye so you can make whatever product in whatever different color. I just got one, I just got a small skin, so it's not that big a deal. And this is a pretty nice color. I think my wife did a really good job picking out the color. I was gonna go for like a navy blue or a black, so I don't have enough black. So that's where we're gonna start on. I think I have everything here. And Ryan, as soon as you figure it out, you can hop in the chat. You're going to need to figure out how to chat on your phone. It should just be right in the comment section right there. I'm going to message Mike too, because I can. Who else? Who else can I bug to get in here? I don't know. Thoughts, things and stuff. So I'm gonna primarily be making stuff out of veg tan because it's just a little bit better, a little bit more durable, and a little bit more fun to work with because there's more fungibility with it. You can skeeve it a lot easier. The backs are a lot cleaner, whereas chrome tan, the flesh side is usually fuzzier, where veg tan is a lot cleaner. So it makes for a better product and a little bit nicer to work with. So let's have another bite of the bagel and move on to the project camera, because I think that's working now. Let me just make sure. I'm on my phone too. There is a live chat button under the video itself. That helps. So Ryan, there's the information for you. I know Brianna had a dickens of a time trying to figure it out as well. Okay. There's my bite of the bagel. Let's get this show a-rolling. There you go, buddy. You did it. Okay. So let me rearrange my stuff here so I can still talk to you fools. So, mallet out of the way. I don't think I'm going to be using this yet. So this is primarily why I have so many SD cards. I have a couple for this guy. I have a couple for my phone. And when I start upgrading the shop and my video capabilities, I'm going to be having more and more and more. And these things just fall all over the place. So we need to fix that. Couple shopkeeping tips here. You need a fresh razor blade. So I don't know if you can see it, but the edge is kind of worn and it's kind of meh. So the first thing we're going to do is switch this buddy around. You always want to work with a fresh blade, but if you don't, have yourself a sharps container. The thing about these blades is they're still plenty sharp enough for most applications. However, they're not sharp enough for leather. So if you keep, a container, used leather blades or used leather razors, you can still get a lot of life out of these. But you always want a nice sharp blade. So put that over there, police that. Let's grab the hide. And so I need this longer than this guy. So let's start out with something about over here. How's that sound? Ooh. All right. So is Rich part of this party yet, Eileen, or is he still hanging out in bed? All right, so I'm figuring we want them to be arranged kind of like this. So we will start with this. So that's a good length right there. Good morning, Alan. He just woke up. He can hear you, though. Good. So let's get a nice square edge on here. Start right there. Also, another tip. When you're cutting, depending on where you're cutting, you want to cut always to the outside of your work area, just in case your knife jumps or wanders or whatever. Let's move this down a little bit. We're still square here. Still square to the edge. Yes, we are. Good. This stuff cuts so nice. I love it. So how are we doing today, Alan? All right, so I think we determined that this is wide enough for 3. Let's go there. And is Jill in today, or is she working? Okay, so let's do this and make a mark right there. Not bad. Good to hear. I believe that mark was right here. Double check it. Well, we can pull in a little bit. She's making eggs for Ellie. Aw. Alright, so we start there. And I have this horrible habit of always saving my scrap. Because you never know when you need something small. So, like, I'm pushing all these guys off to the side. Like, I can still make a strap out of that one, or a strap out of this one, or whatever. Or I can even turn this into making. Oh, where do those cards go? Middle of a shoot, those buggers disappeared. Oh, here they are. So I can still, get at least one side out of this, so it's not wasted. I do the same thing. Well, Eileen, I have to say it's oh boy, it gets to be a bit. So now we have to measure. Waste not, want not. Seems smart. It does, but at a certain point, especially I've noticed this a lot with woodworking and blacksmithing. There comes a point where it becomes a problem. You have way too much waste and not enough space. All right, so this is going to be a wee bit bigger than a traditional wallet. And that's okay. So the inside has to be, let's say 3. So I want a little space for the stitch line, about 1/8 inch from the edge. So it's 3 and 1/8, 3 1/4. Let's do 3 3/8 each side. So let's mark that. Three 3/8. Then I think, let's see here. So that's 3/4 of an inch there, roughly. Let's do 3/4 of an inch. And then we will do another 3 3/8. You hoarder. Yeah, I am. The thing is, if I have a nice pretty wood, especially like a pretty hard wood, a piece the size of a pen, even half the size of a pen, I will take. Is that a better view for you guys? And I will just keep that forever. So I'm marking this all on the back just so I have my own reference. This is going to be on the inside of the pocket anyways. So I'm going to want to use my scratch awl to mark this off and then go from there. But mark it on the inside, that way, you can always flip it over and double check what you're doing. And you don't lose your measurements. Check that. Go there and go right there. And I think that should be good. I got 1, 2, 3, and a little room to spare, so I can space these guys out just a little bit. And they should still work for an Animal Crossing type thing. They're a little bit bigger than SD cards for the Nintendo Switch, so this should work out for those as well. I think. So where is my scratch-all? I have it somewhere. At least I think I have it somewhere. I don't think I have a scratch-all. And Animal Crossing. Well, I don't know what it is. I don't play those games. In your back pocket. Clearly. You know, this thing is such a junk all, but I got it for as a gift, my whole little starter leather kit thing as a gift. But the quality is definitely not quite there. This tip keeps bending over. So let me grab my file. Give this a quick sharpen. And where's that nub? There you are. I think I'll eventually get down to good metal. Where are you getting your leather? I got this leather from buckleguy.com. I got half my stuff from buckleguy.com, the other half from Weaver Leather Supply. So I got this from buckleguy.com. I got this leather from Buckle Guy, and I got this stuff, which is awesome. This is Ted's tape. I got the 1/8 inch. And Ted's tape is a replacement for barge cement. It's a double-sided adhesive tape specifically made for leather. And it is awesome. You know, I can lay down exactly what I want. I don't have to worry about going over my lines, and I don't have to wait for it to the barge cement to partially dry or whatever. And I don't have to worry about placement issues and try to scratch things off and try and get things nice and done and right. It's just easy enough to put it on, and then I can place my piece however I want without having to, you know, measure things out, scratch them, and then dick around with the barge cement. It's just easier. And unless I'm gluing a panel to a panel, this is all you need. You only need your cement at your stitch line anyway, so there you go. So I think that looks pretty good there. Let me trim. Make sure it's square. Morning, Mike. I'm building a SD card holder. You've been bugging me to do the giveaways and stuff on my channel forever, so I figured I would invite you to one because I saw you were on. So everyone say hello to Mike. He's the one of the guys I have on my channel regularly for the Manliness Mondays and the philosophy. He's one of the brains behind Knightsmith. So 3 3/8, 3/4 inch, 3 3/8. Let's make our marks on this side. We'll just make little marks. Nothing has to be super fantastic here. Very well, hello viewers. So 3 3/8. And we'll do 3/4. Well, actually, let's just do it like this. 3 3/8 from that side. And then let's square this up and just do a light score. A very light score across. Ah, perfect, I can see that beautifully. Where's my other mark? Right here. There's the mark. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but 2 little scores, just enough to see. So my wallet is somewhere. There it is. And disappeared. So it's just about as wide. But this slot here is 3 3/4. So it starts in, we can go in from that, I do suppose. A little bit more than 1/8. Let's see here. We'll call that 3/16. So go 3/16 from either side. Make a little mark. Three sixteenths from this side. Little mark. We'll do 3 from this side. Little mark there, and 3 from this side. Little mark. Okay. So what I want is something like that. Something like that. So I'm going to take the rotary punch, and then cut this section out. Let's do something with a nice wide. We'll use the widest, and we will do our best to punch the corners here. That is such a satisfying click. Now we just connect the dots. I'll freehand these little guys here. Might be poor practice, but meh, we'll get over it. Longer cuts just to keep everything nice and straight. We'll do it the right way. How about that? So, after this morning, after we're done here, what are your plans for the day? I'm going to be doing my absolute favorite, maintenance on cars. I don't know if you saw my dad in the background, but he's going out to change the oil on his right now. A little hang on there. It's okay. All right, so we got this piece. Now that it's scratched, and I have this punched, we're good here. And we can move on to the next piece. Actually, the next several pieces. Another sip of coffee. Let's see, Eileen, you're going to be waiting at the door for a few packages. Get business cards done and make up a few more earrings. Sweet. Prepping for a new live format show launching on Monday. And Mike is going to be boxing backstock. Awesome. What kind of new live show format are you doing on Monday, Joe? Is there anything we'd be interested in over here on Nightsmith? Give yourself a little shout out. Or a plug, or whatever you want to call it. All right, so back to these happy pieces. I know I need a piece 3 3/8 inch wide, but instead of measuring again, let's just do this. Get all the edges up on here as pretty as you please. Pop you down. And Eileen, what packages are you waiting for? Anything interesting? Let's see here. You probably want them like this. So that's what? 1/8 inch from the edge, at least. Let's do a 1/4 inch just to give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room. All right, so they're 1 inch. Blade for the Cricut. Fine point pins for the Cricut, and more leather for earrings. Awesome. And let's see, what's Joe doing? It's going to be like mid-morning talk radio, so to speak. where we'll cover a wide variety of topics, including segments like What I Wish I Knew, the Nerd Corner, and stuff like that. So does that mean you're going to be plugging the Wish I Knew segment from Nightsmith? All right, what did I say? 1 inch? Yeah. So I need, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4 strips at 1 inch. Where'd that scratch all go? You run a similar thing? Yes. It's actually a new series I just started, like a mini series on Manliness Monday. What I Wish I Knew. And it for mine, it runs every other week. First week was last week. This is going to be week 2. And basically, I just bring someone on and we talk about life advice. What I wish I knew when I was going into, from middle school to high school to college, college to the workforce, and just general life advice for young men. It was very fun to do. It was a very cool format, and I think that's just awesome that you're doing your own spin on it. And Jill, you're going to be working on a leather archer's arm guard. Cool. I cannot wait to see pictures of that. Super excited. So let's get the mark. And get square. There's one. I can use this piece to measure off my others. Not big enough, not big enough. Okay, those aren't big enough. Jill, when you're done, you should send some pictures to the Nightsmith Facebook group. I'm really excited to see what you're coming up with. All right, there's 2. It's for an artist exchange, hoping it comes out like I'm hoping. I'll post it once the artist gets it. Awesome. So there's 2 of these guys right here. There's one, and there's going to be the other. So it should fit pretty as you please. This is actually going way faster than I thought it would. Which I am not going to complain about. But now, I need to cut another piece off that precious hide that I just bought. So there. So we'll cut that corner off right there. Oops. Okay, so now we have to do a little bit of math. The inside of a wallet is smaller than the outside. And you can see, when you lay it flat, you have this bump here. So we need to figure out what that bump is so we can transfer that extra space to here. Now I figure it on being, well, the difference in space here. So I have 3/4 of an inch gap there. So I think if instead of being 3/4, I add that much to the outside minus the stitch line, I should be in pretty good shape and have enough bend around so that, you know, once you start putting stuff in your wallet or in this SD card holder, you'll have it won't, you know, crunch or destroy anything or stress it. So let's do that first. A little difficult here, but let's do, looks like an extra 1/8 inch per side. So let's do an extra 1/4 inch. That actually works out nicely. Good morning. Good morning, Kelsey Gillette. My sister-in-law, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing, Kels? All right, now I know this is a nice straight edge, so let's work off that. Make sure I have enough working space up top. Let's move this over to the edge as much as we can. Though I do believe I'll still be able to, no, let's do it like all the way down here. That way when I cut these sides, I'll have a nice reference. So I'll do a mark right here, and then slide you here. Do a mark there. I love seeing the chats light up with people. This is so cool. So cool. All right, let's get my line here. Nope. One piece there. And here's the other side. Make sure it's nice and square. Now, let me just flip this around, make my life easier. Okay, where's my mark? There you are. Oh, I should make sure the whole cut surface is on the. Oh, look at that! Didn't move. I'm good. My bad. I'm back. Had to feed the savages. Well, that's all right. I won't penalize you too much for that, Joe. Okay, so we got that. So we'll measure up 3 3/8. There's 3 3/8. See, and this is why you mark things. Yep, 3 3/8. Three 3/8. We'll do 1 inch. And from there, we'll do another 3 3/8. I'm trying to keep the marks on this side as small as possible so that they disappear once I finish the edges. There's the mark. There's square. There's the back. And then, can we cut 2 more straps out of this? No. We can get 1. Oh well, we'll see what we have over there. Maybe I can get 1 out of something there. Actually, how big is one of these? This is 1 inch. So that's a nice little hack. My ruler is 1 inch wide. So I'm doing it. Three. I really can't get 1 more out of that. No, I guess I can't. Let's see. Can I get 1 out of here? Oh, definitely. So I'll do this. We'll do I'll just get the width here. So Jill, where do you get your leather from? Right there. So for years I've been looking at Bretton's Village leather. They usually do, they're mostly chrome tan, but they get a lot of really discount leather, so if you want to get into it, that's a good way to start. Okay, so we have all 4 pieces. You know what? Let's add a 5th piece. Just one side. Should we? Because like this wallet here, you have a little like business card slot. I think that would be nice. Let's do that. So I'll be punching through 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of leather. That's going to be kind of difficult. Let's not do that. Let's not make this harder than it has to be for today. A little bag. A little sanding stick. We'll clean up the inside edges. And we'll burnish them and get to sewing. That's all pretty good right there. And all these pieces cut very nicely, so I'm not going to worry about that too much more. So now we need to wet these edges. Now I don't have any gum trag with me, but you don't need that to burnish edges. I'm just using a little bit of the coffee. You just want to get the edges wet, and primarily you're just looking to apply friction. So we're going to use a pen. Just a little burnish, nothing super fancy. Just finish them off a little bit better than what they are. Eventually I'm going to get a nice Coca-Cola one. Eventually. That should be good for now. Okay, next step. We have to put the back to the side. And we're going to be dealing with these guys. One, 2, 3, 4. So these ones should be all, ooh, somehow I managed to cut one short. Oh no. I cut 2 of them short. Good job, Chris. Let's recut these guys. Any other scrap that's going to work? Nope. So let's cut a piece off of here. One more strip won't kill me. Cannot wait until I can get a bigger, better work surface. Load this up. Finish off this cut here. Let's go to the top. Go. Let's get a clean edge over here. We'll do it like this. And so I don't screw up again. Famous last words. One. Two. Now I think we're good. So I need to attach these guys. So how wide is this? Because I need to break this into thirds. Just a hair over 4 inches. It's not too bad. Okay, so TED's tape. Apply this to 3 sides. We'll lay them in, and then we'll worry about what all this looks like. Is anyone's pet watching? Let's see. Well, usually Bowser watches, Rich and Eileen's dog. And let's see. It's nice to see the full process, including mistakes of someone who has never worked with leather. Yeah. Well, I mean, how else do you really learn or anything? You got to screw with things. You got to make mistakes. You got to take a little chance. If you don't take those chances, if you don't screw up, you're not learning. To err is to be human. This stream just proves that Chris is human. Yeah, I am very human. If you want to see me screw up, watch me work on vehicles. I can do it. I'm decent at it. But oh boy. I'm an absolute comedy of errors when I'm working on cars. Might even learn a few new cuss words. Okay. I'm not doing it all the way to the ends on all of them. I'm just getting pretty close. This stuff just needs to stick down long enough to pound a few stitches in. And make sure you're laying them in on the right side of the leather too. Okay, then. I've used this stuff once before and it seemed to work pretty good. I did a pipe roll the other night. I enjoy smoking my pipe, and but there's so much crap that goes along with it that it starts to accumulate, starts to get everywhere. So I want something to organize it. So I figured this would be a great test run, and it works pretty good. One thing I did find out though, it's a bit of a pain in the butt getting the other side of this waxy film off. So let's see. Joe, haha, me too. I've gotten better over the years, but I'm right there with cars and plumbing. Yeah. Oh, plumbing. I say some interesting things when I'm plumbing. Right, now, the trick is to get the paper and not the stuff. Take this and try to get it on there a little bit better. Maybe that'll help. Maybe not. We'll see. We shall see. This will be a test. Actually, this whole thing's basically just one giant test for me. That's why I don't feel bad about giving this stuff away. It's all prototypes. One down, a million more to go. Come on. Let's try this side. Now I'm sure there's some sort of trick. There always is, to getting this stuff off, or to making it easier on myself. So if you're knowledgeable, please let me know. Come on. Nope. This reminds me of those little stickers from toys. They come on that cheap film. There we go. Come on, you bugger. There we go. There's one. Oh, nope. It's one pocket. Goo gone. Well, I'm not trying to remove the sticky side. I'm trying to remove the paper side from the sticky side, so I have the stick left. Goo gone would get rid of all the stick. Come on. Ah, I think that's it. Let's get you. I think that works. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm putting my nail down and I'm pulling, and that'll cause a ripple that I can grab the edge of. This piece has a little bit of sticking out, so that's easy. That worked. But let's see. For this one, I don't have any wiggle room. So right there, and come on. It worked. There we go. So I think that's the trick. Hammer time. Bottom. Can't touch this. Did I get it? Nope. I thought I had the trick. And yeah, this is a little messy and stuff. Once I put the stitch line in, I'll come back and trim this up a little bit smaller. Haha. All right, now that I've figured that out, this stuff is a lot more fun to work with. All right. So I have to divide these into 3 pockets. I'm only going to sew the whole outside once. So I'm not going to worry about the stitching on the outside of it yet. So I just need to divide these into thirds. How best to do that? Use a wing divider. 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at that, I guessed right. So let's do that. We'll do over here. And someone messaged me on Facebook. Sometimes that's important. Desiree. Oh. All right, come on. All right, so this doesn't have to be super fantastic. So I think just one of these in each one. Nope, we'll do a couple here. All right, let's start from the bottom. Go right there. No, we'll do that. The bottom here. Tick up. There we go. I should have been smart and tagged a few photography people like Peter McKinnon and big name people, Peter McKinnon and Roberto Blake. See if I could get them in here to do that. I believe they're on Twitter, so if you guys are on Twitter, share this on Twitter, and maybe I'll get some interesting traction here. Or share this over to their Facebook accounts or whatever they have. Okay, so there's that. Let's put this away before I lose it, because I will lose everything. And I'm thinking this dark brown leather. I don't want to go with the black. I don't want to go with that cream thread, but I think this will go nicely. What do you think? So get rid of that. Do a little stitch. So I need. Ooh, I didn't grab my lighter because I'm gonna need to burn these. Back uno momento. Need that. All right, and where are my needles? I swear I had everything here. Well, clearly I was wrong because I didn't have, there. Didn't have the lighter. All right, so there's one, and don't need these hooks. Rule of thumb when you're doing the saddle stitch, you want 3 times what your stitch is, but since these are so small, it's 1, 2. I'm doing more than that, so just I have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to tying. Let's see, Joe D. Watching leather working, metal in the background while working out. Mannish going on. Yeah, I'd say you're doubling down on your testosterone this morning. I'm working with leather now, and then I'm going to be working on cars later, so I think I'm going to have that going on as well. Okay, so let's start on here. All right, even up the thread, and we'll go come on. No, it's gonna be this kind of morning now, is it? Oh, these are gonna be tight pockets, I'll tell you that. Pull that guy. Oh, there's a nice tight thread in these pockets. A cool thing with veg tan, as opposed to the chrome tan, you could put a lot more pressure on your stitches. So when I'm doing this, I'm pulling to open up the hole a little bit when I go back with the other thread, with the other needle. Come on. So. And pull that open. This would be a little bit better with my stitching pony, but there's nowhere to mount it here. So we're just gonna have to make do with not having that here. Ooh, I think I found a secret. If I pull it nice and sharply, it just kind of follows. Okay, which one am I on here? So this is the one I want to pull open. And then grab you. Work. Nope. Grab this one. Work that open. Take this guy. Pop that in. Pull through fast. That's going to be a real pain in the butt when it comes to doubling the stitching back, but we'll cross that bridge in a second. Now you can see the struggle. Okay, so pull you. If you guys are curious, I actually made a stitching pony. Stupid easy way. Let's see, Laura. Oh my God, I overslept. That's okay. I won't penalize you too much. Welcome to the show. Clearly it's not over yet, so you haven't really done that big of a disservice to me. And all these guys, I could actually just finish on the back. So I'll do you back through one more time. Better late than never. Yep. All right, and you back through this hole. There we go. All right. One down, a bunch more to go. We're doing pretty good today, as far as I can tell. Let's see. Ooh, Kelsey, what did you get? I got my resin curing, my cats are napping, watching the stream, and drinking tea. Fantastic. That sounds like a great morning. What type of tea are you drinking there, Kels? And what resin do you have curing? What projects are you making now? So I think I'm going to end up capping this live stream off at 11 o'clock. I think 2 hours is plenty long enough. Because unfortunately, I still have stuff to do today. So we'll see how far we get along with this. Mint Metally. And trying out some new silicone molds. Wonderful. Actually, I think this might go a little bit quicker now that I have an idea of how to stitch these guys. They're molds for jewelry. Awesome. All right, so it seems like the trick for these is you want to open up the hole, but once you get it in there, you want a sharp pull so it kind of snaps, comes right in. This probably isn't the proper size thread or needle to be using with these holes, but you work with what you got. Let's pull that stitch line nice and tight. Yeah, this one's way quicker. Than the last one I did. So we might be in business, guys. Just maybe. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, those ones are in. Where's my little hammer? Hammer down the stitch lines. All right. Not too shabby. So I'm going to be taking some measurements off this before I ship it out, and actually making a nice set of plans for it. So I can make this again the right way. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Making some mocha and putting it on the tilly. And then you're using hot cocoa mix and black insomnia coffee. That sounds like an interesting way to wake up on your Saturday morning. I'll take a to-go order. I require a friendly visit for to-go orders. Well, that's going to be one hell of a call ahead, since Eileen lives in the middle of Ohio, and we're in Napa, Northeast PA. Let's even up the thread, mostly. There we go. And pull that down, bottom to top. All right, we might actually make this all happen today. Pull that out. Here. Plug it down. Learning all sorts about you folks. Strongsville. Cool. Let's see. If you're nice, I might make you 2 cups of coffee for your visit. I have such a great group of people that come to these live streams and talk. You guys make this so much fun. And you're so nice to each other. It's kind of incredible. Because normally I attract assholes. And it seems like the comment section on most videos usually goes downhill pretty quick. I'm very lucky to have such great followers. Come on. See, Laura, I've gotten 3 supervisors to get this coffee because they think it'll get them to my level. Your level, what level is that? Well, if you're talking about drinking in relation to coffee, she is 3 sheets to the wind once she has a couple cups. Let's see, you curated this group and your followers. You attracted us to you, therefore part of that credit goes to you. Thank you, Laura. Joe. Yes, that's tricky when curating content, cultivating solid audience that doesn't eat each other alive in the comment section. Well, thank you guys. I just try to be a decent human being, make interesting and relevant content and cool things, and talk about, just talk about generally good things, and I don't know. How does it compare when you have Monster? Kelsey, you're a little bit more bouncy when you have the Monster than Laura is, but that level of alert, pretty much the same. A little terrifying. By a little, I mean a lot. Me or her? Yes, both of you. Both of you. It's a little terrifying. What'd I do? I did something wrong. Go back through that hole. Yep, definitely did something wrong. Through the wrong hole. Usually that would get me slapped. Now Kelsey wants a Monster. Great. She's playing with resins. Now she wants a Monster. She's watching me make mistakes live in front of a kind of a studio audience. I'm a bad influence on you kids. All right. Hammer down this stitch lines. Ooh, I could probably stitch this guy here and this guy here now too. Actually, I probably should. Let's see. Better than a studio audience because we're laughing. Sans laugh track. Monster and Coffee is what the dark side of Knightsmith runs on. Yes, it is. The dark side of Knightsmith. I love that. Okay, so I think I'm going to do these guys here. And then I'll lay in this as a separate stitch line here and here. And I'll go around and stitch the whole outside, trim everything up. Well, I'll trim it up before I lay in that last stitch line so that everything fits nicely, I do believe. And then, I mean, it's looking pretty cool. Pretty cool. You have that, and you can open it up and blop. All right, so enough chatterboxing. Let's see, Monster and no, you're not. Kayla was the one who introduced me to Monster. She's the culprit. Well, Michaela, if you're watching, your sister's blaming you for the whole internet to see. Even up these lines. Good there. And I do have to say, I'm getting much quicker with these stitches. Not as fast as I would like to be, but sounds like a sisterly thing to do. Yeah, they definitely. They definitely have a tendency to bash each other just a wee bit. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Let's see. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Do it, you can do it. All right. What does it say? Waterboy movie? You can do it. Oh yeah, we pick on each other, but only in the best of ways. Well, yeah. You guys are pretty civil about how you pick on each other. Fig Newton breakfast. You know the funniest joke about Fig Newtons? The serving size. No, seriously, look at the serving size. It's 2. I forget who it was a comedian that brought this up. Then I had to go look at it. Yeah, it's actually just 2 Fig Newtons. That's the serving size. That's a joke. Everyone eats those things by the sleeve. And oops. Well, looks like Laura got adopted. Congratulations. Come on. There we go. It's like the Pringles can. You can't have just one. This is painfully true. So I wanted to get the larger stitching irons. Mostly for this reason. First order of new sisterhood. I steal your coffee. There's a few things I feel that way about. Thank goodness I only have brothers. Well, that's one way to look at it. There's that stitching hole. Need to remount this hole just a little bit here. Okay. Come on. Go. Normally I would do a square knot before burning these little tails down, but since it's just holding for SD cards, nothing structural, I think we'll be fine. What's your typical audience size for one of these? Somewhere between 4 and 7 people. So it's nothing big, nothing huge or overwhelming. But it is, it's enough. Let's see, how many people do I have in here right now? I have 7 people watching me right now. And a lot of times I get a lot more on the playback, because not everyone can sit down and watch me for an hour in the morning, or some people have work. Even in the midst of all this bullshit going on. So I usually get about 4 to 7 people watching live, and then 14 to 17 people in a playback. within the first 24 hours. So I'm happy with those numbers. Honestly, a channel your size having a dedicated audience of that size is good. Thank you. Though I am hoping that by the end of this year, that audience size will more than double, so I can get monetized again and start really making some nice stuff. Because once I'm monetized and I'm making money off this, I can start affording, I can obviously afford to spend, dedicate more time to everything. Get better equipment, maybe even hire an editor. Me and Eileen have been teasing each other back and forth about getting a glow forge, because that thing is just cool. But I want to make Knightsmith my full-time job. I want to do this stuff every day for you guys, because that would be just such a pleasure for me. Being able to do this for a living, it'd be so cool. But I need more patrons over at Patreon. So I do have a Patreon. So it's patreon.com/Knightsmith. And they help buy all the stuff that I need. All the materials, they help buy tools, they help with shop rent, they help with baby supplies every now and then. Some cheap options for editing. Well, it's not the editing that I'm having trouble with, really. I use DaVinci Resolve, and it's free. What I have problems with is time. So if I could find somebody who would be an editor, it would be great. What would be even better is if I had someone to do the editing, someone to do the social media stuff for me. That way I could just focus on building stuff and my family, and actually, creating the content. And then everything else just kind of takes care of itself. That's the dream. That's the dream for me. I need a small staff too, not... Ooh, right, you meant paying for someone. That's interesting. Because most of my videos are talking head videos. Like the project videos, you need to know what's going on to... You need to know what's going on in the project videos to edit them properly. But the philosophy videos, it's just, they're stupid easy to edit. Because I sit down, I have, 7 to 8 questions. We talk about it interview style, kind of. Go back and forth a little bit. And then I do one intro for the whole thing, one outro for the whole thing, and then break each question up into its own video. So you take out any side conversations, you take out any non-fluencies, and boom, done. So I would be very happy to hand that over to somebody else. And same thing with the Manliness Mondays. They're pretty cut and dry on how to edit. So if I could get somebody else to do that, that would be awesome. Let's see. I tune in every day normally, and I'll just mute it when I'm working. We need that comment. Yes, we do, Eileen. Remind me later to send you some cheap options. Blah, 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 blah. Eileen, you should make Dark Side of Knightsmith be part of your agreements. Oh boy. Actually, if I ever start doing merch, it'll be definitely uh, a T-shirt or a coffee mug with the Dark Side of Nightsmith on it. That is hilarious. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. There will be a subsection to an article in the agreement. We lied about the cookies. Let's see, Joe, if you ever need another talking head for philosophy manliness, definitely. And that way you can plug your podcast segment on my show, and maybe you can have me on for yours. And I can plug into yours as well. Synergistic growth, people. That's how you make it happen. Actually, what do you guys think about me doing some merch? You know, coffee cup or a hat or a t-shirt or something. That's how it done. It takes a village. Yes, it does. Thankfully, I have the village, and I supply my own idiot. Okay. And I'd wear Knightsmith shirts and use mugs. I'm game. Cups are where that water slide stuff comes in handy. Beautiful. So, I think I know what you and I need to talk about today, Eileen. You, me, and Michaela need to talk about merch. I got my prototype Knightsmith shirt I wear all the time. Awesome. So I'm definitely going to get you an order within the next couple of days and wire you some money. I did take a look at those shirts that you sent me. Pretty cool stuff. And Laura, she makes tumblers with lids. Yes, she does. She actually made a Knightsmith tumbler for me, and I love drinking coffee out of it. It is so it just lights up my whole day. So Joe, what is your take on merch? Get the name out there. You guys link. Let me know how much stuff is, and I'll put an order for some and some extra to give away. You guys are awesome. God, that was before I started using epoxy to seal them. I hope the vinyl is still staying. The vinyl is still staying fantastically, actually. It's holding up way better than I thought it was. But then at the same time, I also only hand wash. So I don't know how it would stay in like a washing machine. But guys, the mug she made for me, it was a Christmas present. It is like a metallic copper type outside, and then she actually took my maker's mark off of a picture on Facebook of the shirt I had made 3 years ago, and it was perfect. It was the coolest thing, and I love drinking out of it. And it keeps the coffee pretty nice and warm too, which is the whole point. Let's hammer down all these stitch lines. I forget which ones I did, so I'm just going to do all of them. Okay, there's that. Drop in a stitch line here and here. And then we will stitch the pockets here and the back on there, trim everything, and we are good to go. Let's see. Oh, thank goodness you can only hand wash with just vinyl. I hand wash only 2, so I'll survive well then, and that's impressive. Let's see, Joe, I think I mentioned before that we monetized the one podcast with a coffee cup subservice that had quotes from different episodes. Shirts are one of those that are a staple. Interesting. I'm going to have to talk to you about that very shortly, I believe. Where's my chisels? There we go. Because if I can start getting some merch going on here, then I might be in business. That's pretty awesome, Jay. Ad revenue money is dying out and sponsorships rely on your channel being a certain size. So having backbone of merch is very smart. Yes, it is. It's one thing where I have not quite got there yet. And I didn't want to seem too presumptuous. But you guys seem pretty awesome. And I want to make things available for people who want it. And I mean, wow, you were stuck in there good. Oh, I want to skip that, so let's pop over to another guy here. That would end in the same hole, and that would cut the threads, and I do not want to cut the threads. So let's do that. Oh, shoot. I just bought these. I just frickin' bought these. I'm gonna call Weaver. I don't think I did anything stupid. Well, that sucks. Four prong seems to be holding up pretty good. So, you know, fingers crossed there. I think I'm too abusive on these pliers. Yeah, there's the tines were stuck in this mat. This is a poundo board. I bought this from Weaver. I bought this as a 12 by 24, and then I have a marble slab here. So I had to get the pliers out of and take them out of the board so I could keep using it. I don't think I'm abusing these things. Am I? I don't think so. Let's see here. Some chats. Oh, damn. And shot is not the word you wanted to use there. No, it is. It is It is definitely not. But if I need to send this clip into Weaver, I don't want to be screaming and cussing. That does not exactly portray a very level-headed customer who is dissatisfied. Because I do like their products, and I watch the Leather Element all the time with Chuck Dorset, which is one of their one of their salesmen, and he does a YouTube channel, the leather, on Weaver, Leathercraft. He's not the most interesting guy to watch, because he uses the same couple phrases over and over, which get kind of annoying. But he definitely knows his stuff, and great guy to learn from. He seems like he'd be a pretty cool guy to know in real life too. So if ever I make it out to Ohio, and we have time enough to go to their factory, or not their factory, their warehouse or showroom or whatever it is, it'd be kind of cool if I was able to meet him. It'd be kind of really cool if I was able to meet him. Because he has some really invaluable advice. But yeah, screaming and cussing about faulty product on on a live stream is not a great way to make friends. Okay, there's those two stitch lines. Let's drop in there. Unfortunately, they didn't exactly have the stitching needles that I wanted, stitching irons, whatever you want to call them. These are their smallest size, which is 3mm, about 9 stitches per inch. I wanted something a little bit bigger, so it'd have bigger holes and larger spacing, but I got what they had, and we'll see with how that plays out in the near future here. Doesn't look like you're being overly abusive. Looks like you're using it right. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of experience. Well, I have almost no experience with these. But I mean, I've watched him use them a bunch of times in his explanations and stuff, and he seems just to pound the dickens out of them and, pull them right out, no problem. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I don't think so, but we'll see. Let me just open these up a little bit more, just to make my life easier, so we can stitch this a little bit faster. Just remount these holes a little bit. yeah, I'm gonna have to call them up today, which I don't like dealing with customer service. Not because I have anything against them. I don't like complaining, and I know I can get kind of hot-headed at times, and it's not their fault. I mean, it's not that I know so many people who are in customer service either. It's just I don't want to be that guy. You know? The guy that becomes the funny story. Dude, he was screaming about leather tools during a global pandemic. Yeah. Like, I mean, I have to call and complain and see if I can get a new set. But, man, my funny stories over the years about the sausage in the jar woman in men's clothing. What? What? What kind of people have you dealt with? Are you kidding me? I've been in customer service call centers, and yep, that would be the guy we all talk about at break lunch. You missed a comma. Eh, happens. And those are real stories. People are nuts. Yeah, so I'm going to start cheating and using the pliers to pull some of this stuff through because my fingers are starting to hurt just a wee bit. And there's no reason to suffer. God bless you people who work in customer service. Because I would not do well. My favorite was an Australian woman screaming at me because she didn't want to walk down the block. 45-minute phone call that should have been over in 2 to 5 because we didn't accept out of country credit cards. There was a CVS like a block away from him where she couldn't have gotten a gift card. Oh boy. Oh, people be people. Whether that's a good thing or not is highly up for debate. But it is entertaining. Yeah, I'm not going to fight with this stitching anymore. I'm just going to use the pliers. I got a raise after my supervisor heard that call. Well, good for you. You probably deserved it. Anyone in the service industry deals with so much shit that it's ridiculous. You know, one thing that I harp on this quite a few times in my Mailiness Mondays. Always be kind to the help. Because those people get shit on such a consistent basis that even showing them a modicum of respect, I've found, is like giving them a golden coin. You know, they bend over backwards to help you. So how do you tie off when you're done with the stitch? Normally, I do just a square knot, left over right, right over left. But since this isn't really going to be have any stress on it, I am just not tying anything off. I'm just burning, pulling it through, back stitching a little bit, and burning the ends down, and then smushing the melted plastic, because this is a polyblend thread. Just smushing the melted plastic into the other fibers, and it locks it in nicely. Now, if I was using a thinner thread, I'd probably do the square knot and just hide it inside the fold. These ones are going through nicely. Come on. There we go. But since this leather is so thin and this thread is so big, it would leave a bump, and I don't want that. Let's see, because my review is up and I asked her to listen to the call prior to our meeting. Smart. Another fave was the case of the missing air hockey table on Christmas Eve. Huh. That sounds like a unique story. Let's see. And Joe. It's true, exactly. Be cool about it and don't be a jerk, and you'll get so much further. Not to mention, it's not the CS agent's fault. You're right, it's not, and a lot of people don't get that. They just want someone to bitch to. But it's not. It's their job to fix the problem, not to listen to your angry ass. So, it's just one of those things. But I'll try and get a close-up of this Eileen for you when I'm finished with this line. You can see what I'm talking about. Stitch wise. So let's pull this in. All right, so I have this, into the stitch. So what I'm going to do is leave this one alone because it's already locked in there. Now take this guy, feed it through one more. It's going to be difficult because I'm showing you up close. Pull it through. And make sure these are nice and tight and snug. Normally I do the square knot like I said. Just gonna cut these. And where is that lighter? It is around here somewhere. Here it is. You see how I have these two little tails here? Melt them down. And then just rub it in. And it finishes off pretty nice. And hammer down the stitch line because opening those, using the stitch awl and pulling on it and stuff, open those holes. So you hammer down the stitch line, closes those holes back up, and maintains integrity across the whole thing. Which is why I'm using this small little brass hammer here. And ba-ding! Very nice. Thank you. So since this thread is so big and the leather's so small, I prefer to have it as clean of a thing as I can. And this is going to be on the inside anyways. There's going to be a back here, so you're not even going to see all this. When I do this piece, I might do the square knot and show you that again. Love the smack at the end. When I do this whole, putting the back on this, I'll probably do a square knot, hide it in a corner or something, or somewhere up here. Actually, I'll probably try and end right next to one of these pockets so you don't see the bump nearly as pronounced. That's probably what I'll do. But I'll show you how I do that as well. 1, 2, 3. And I am anything but conservative with how I measure my thread. I'd rather have too much and have it easy to tie off than, to be fiddling and fussing with it at the end. With a close-up view, it's so pretty. A little bit of the dark side coming out. It's thrilling. Yes. You gotta beat that leather into submission. And this is actually why I like working with my hands a lot better. Even though I'm on a computer all the time. I hate computers. I much prefer to work with my hands because if this isn't cooperating, I get to cut it, smack it, do whatever. If a piece of metal is not working, I get to beat the shit out of it with a hammer. If a computer stops working and I hit it, I have a bill that I can't afford. So, love working with my hands. Have to work on computers all the time. And this is this is going to be a 3-hour stream. Holy moly. All right, so I did the all on this. I'm going to try and not do the all on this and see how much of a difference that makes. And see, the thing with this TEDS tape that I bought, and even barge cement, it doesn't have to be a permanent solution. It just has to last long enough for you to start sewing, which is awesome. And you love working with your hands for similar reasons. Also, at the end of the day, like, even though I'm giving this away, it's a thing I made. with these two, goofy, difficult hands that I have of mine. And there's something nice and special about that, I think. You're maintaining 7 viewers and our attention, so you're doing just well. Thank you. I try to keep you guys entertained while I'm doing this. And not sound like a blithering idiot at the same time, which is sometimes a little bit more difficult than it seems. Okay. So I don't think the scratch all really did much in terms of speed for me. It didn't wind up the holes that much. So let's see. There's a level of instant gratification of seeing what you've done. You know what I mean? Yes, I do. Every time I walk into the Red Door Creative, the first thing that I see isn't my shop. It's one of the walls I installed in there. It's just a big black wall. It's all every time, and every single time I see it, it gives me a little bit of pride. I did that 99% by myself, and then when I walk into the shop, it's pretty much the same thing. I built all the furniture. I built the wall and the doors, and built all the cabinets and tables and work surfaces and jigs. All myself, all by my own, all by my lonesome, and makes me feel really good and really proud of myself that I'm able to do these things, figure them out, and maybe that's a little bit narcissistic, but meh. Also, the second you walk into that space, you smell the wood. Yes, I've actually had several people comment about that as a positive thing. Like when I made those benches, 2 years ago now? A little over 2 years, on my wedding anniversary, my wife helped me finish. There's a class. All right, so here's the thing. There's a class coming in, and they didn't have enough seating. And no one had anything to spare. So I said, okay, well, how about I do that instead of paying rent? I said, yeah, sure. So we figured, what the maximum the class size would be, and I forget what it was. But I ended up making all these benches, and I had my wife and one of my best friends, Mike Lazar. He was the guy who was on here earlier. They helped me finish them. And as they were walking in, every single person commented on how awesome it smells. Fresh cut pine. Made me feel pretty good. And they were impressed how many I made and how fast I pulled them out of the shop. Even though that was 3 days of work, they didn't see. They just saw the finishing. Because I built all the parts and sub-assemblies first. So it was just screw all the shit together and walk out. But yeah, that was really cool. Let's see. That place is heavily scented by both you and I when we're both working. Yeah. Me doing all the woodworking and you doing all the bath bombs and beauty products and stuff. Yeah, we make a lot of smells. And it is really nice. Not at all. When I see my kitchen, I see the sink I installed. I get it. It's nice. So we're coming in on the end of this, guys. This is pretty exciting. Finishing this up.
You still on that thing?
Yep. You can, Dad. You can make noise and stuff. It's okay.
I'm gonna turn on the air compressor. That's really loud.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm trying to hurry up here. Oops. So, yeah, big shout out to my wife for sacrificing a good chunk of our anniversary to help me build stuff in the shop for a promise that I thought I could easily. Oh, I'm not even in frame. What is wrong with me? How dare I? For giving up a good chunk of our anniversary to help me build benches. I definitely picked a winner, guys, because she also gave up. We didn't give it up, but for our wedding, for our honeymoon, we went to VidCon for a week. We went to 8-hour classes. We got married and then left, and we barely saw each other for the first week because we were going to all these different classes and stuff. Out in Anaheim. So we didn't sacrifice the honeymoon because we went out for 2 weeks. Met some really great people out there too. Ended up meeting Roberto Blake actually. And oh my God, what's his name? Actually had like a sit down discussion with that didn't go through. He does all the science stuff. I forget his name. What is wrong with me? I'll have to find out who that was, but they do some of the awesome content. Super nice guy, super smart too. Smarter every day. That guy. Super awesome dude. She's an amazing woman just in general. Yeah, she is. She really is. Let's see, tell us some stories about that trip. Well, let's see. I almost got us into a fight and got kicked out of Griffith Observatory. We were waiting for a show to start, and we were all standing up in line, which was fine. It's kind of hot, kind of a hot muggy day. And this grandfather, I'm pretty sure it was his grandfather, old Mexican looking dude, standing in front of the line with his grandkids. And there's a sign up there, please wait here quietly and we'll get to you as soon as we can, or something like that. I forget what it was. Place was crowded, just packed with people waiting for the show to start. So everyone's kind of grumpy. A lot of people there, maybe 70, 80 people there waiting for this thing to start. And this little kid keeps beating the piss out of the sign. Like, not just hitting it or knocking it around a little bit, but just absolutely destroying this thing. And, the Griffith Observatory, that's a famous place. That's a famous landmark, and it's one of the few places in Los Angeles or California I'd like to go back and see. Kid is just destroying this thing. And the little girl that was with them tries to put it back and fix it. And much to her chagrin, I'm guessing it was her brother, pushes her out of the way and goes back and starts destroying the thing again. So me being me, I can't leave well enough alone. And I yell so freaking loud at the kid. Because obviously the grandfather wasn't doing shit to fix the situation or control the kids. Now I get it, it's hot, kids are gonna get antsy. But it's your job to keep them from destroying property. Sorry, dude. But that's what it is. That's your job. You keep them entertained, you keep them safe. You make sure they don't die, and you make sure they don't break somebody else's shit and get in trouble. That's what you're supposed to do. This guy didn't get that memo, clearly. So I stepped in, and that guy was shooting daggers at me. And every single person that was standing out there, including security guards, who weren't doing their job either because they were just letting this child destroy shit, everyone looks at me, including this grandfather, and he was mad, y'all. But like, dude, do your job. So, and I swear he wanted to kill me in that minute, but tough. Okay, let's pull this down here. You see, nothing on here is exactly perfect. Edges are a little bit large and stuff. Gotta fix that right now. Gotta trim this down and get this all nice and pretty. Ah, Michaela, welcome to the show. You remember that, huh? So do I, and I hope that grandfather remembers it too and actually did something with those children. Rein them in a little bit. Alright, so nip off there. Look at how purry that is now. Nice and even. Do the other side. Let's see. I also ended up meeting the airborne surfer out there, who is an awesome dude, and we went to his hackerspace and ended up becoming really good friends with him. We ended up staying with him, a couple, we hooked up a few times, during the course of VidCon, and then after that was all over, he brought us up to his hackerspace, and I did an interview with him. I actually did a philosophy thing with him, so there's 6 or 7 videos of him on my channel, which is just so cool. Yeah, it was a good time. And a great guy. Wicked smart. Just fantastic guy. Ended up meeting him. Hung out with him a bunch and his whole crew. They had a Christmas in July type thing, which was so cool in the middle of California. And you had a guy on like a motorized couch just drinking and going up and down the alley, and so much fun. The girl seemed fine. It was the big brother who was acting up. Yes, he was. But you need to take care of all the kids when you're going to be taking them out in public. Sorry. Chris, tell him about Christmas in July. I just did. How cool was that though? and there was like 30, 40 people there, and it was just so cool. So let's get this back part attached here, so we can I can let you guys go for the day. Let's pull this back a little bit. That needs to get tightened up. Is that better? Not as much sag. Okay. I don't like too much sag in my my materials. Good. Forgot about the motorized couch. That thing was cool. Didn't you go on a ride on that couch? Up and down that alley? Alright guys, it's all coming together here. The back, the front. Get this on here, we'll get this trimmed up. And we're looking like we're in pretty good shape. So let me police some of my cuttings here before we make more. That is another big tip. Clean as you go. Your life will be so much better. Laura's the new sister. Laura, the neighbor kids are about to burst through that dang wall. Fantastic. And you did. Good. Neighbor kids. Do I need to go up there and teach them a lesson about Bob? Oh, this is great. Okay, so I'm planning on going straight from these stitch lines down and around. And this will get trimmed off again a little bit here, but I want that to be my outer limit. So let's do this. Come on. Go right from there. Maybe I should have made these whole things a little bit bigger. Maybe not. We shall see very shortly how much I screwed up. I mean, I've written... Michaela. You guys are turning this dirty. But I guess if this is going to be the dark side of Knightsmith, you have to have a little of that humor in here. Okay, so that's what I'm looking like there. So this is definitely on the longer side. That's okay. Oh, kids. And she did it. Dark side of Knightsmith. She did it. Don't blame the rest of us. I don't know. I think you're all a little involved there. Right, bring that right to the edge. Hammer down this stitch line. Not the stitch line, but since this is going into the flesh side, to a flesh side, it's not a super strong connection as skin to skin. So I really want to make sure that has good adhesion throughout the whole piece when I stick it on. We're innocent 100%, including Mick. Yeah, she, honestly, out of everyone, she's probably one of the most innocent. Her and Kelsey. The rest of you, dubious at best. All right, look at that. That was nice and easy. Let's police those. Take another sip of the dockside. Let's see. Exactly, Laura. We're both angels. The rest of the... You know, Lucifer was an angel too, Michaela. Just saying. All right, now. What is that schmutz on here? I don't know. Since this is much bigger, we're going to lay this in. I want to lay it on this way, I believe. Yeah. Do it like this. And this is one thing I've seen over and over. Oh, not quite. Come on. No, 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 no. Don't. With people screwing up patterns for wallets and stuff, even in kits. All right, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Like that. Hammer this down. Because you need that extra fluff there to have it so it opens up, you know, this way. If you make it flat there, it'll screw up over here. See how I have so little left over here, but when it's flat, I have a good amount. Well, there you go. What are you doing in my chat? You're so much fun. Schmack it. Hammer time. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Merry group of idiots. So, Michaela, I don't think you've seen yet, but I need to call Weaver Leathercraft today. Snapped right off. None of you are innocent. Come on. So we're going to start right there. I haven't even had it for 4 days. Poor Joe is getting stuck with us. Yeah, well, he wanted to join. Work this out. I just think I'll use this last guy. Just get one more right to the edge there. Should I? Shouldn't I? Yeah, let's do it. And now Pharaoh has joined. Awesome. Let's see. Eileen got all excited. There was a package in the mailbox. Not my stuff, but a shirt that was sent for a commission item for a high school senior. So not bad. Interesting. All right, we don't want to go and cut the other stitch. So we're going to stop there. Want to make sure I'm going through all 3 layers. Can you see that? Yeah. Man, this stuff is in there tight. Tight, 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 tight. Now, if this one breaks, I'm going to be in real trouble. A little bit more. I love getting stuff in order. I order in the mail. It's like Christmas. Yes, it is like Christmas. Man, that's really in there. Okay, so right to that one. Put it in the last hole. Don't want to cut the stitches. Just oh boy. So Eileen, I think we're gonna have to make those make some merch here. Dark Side of Nightsmith. Oh my god. This is gonna be a thing, guys. You're forcing me. You're forcing it. You're forcing it through. That looks even. Ish, mostly. Dark Side. Ooh, that is not good. It'll be fine. Prototype. Should have cut this much larger, I believe. But we'll figure that out later. This is why I'm making prototypes. Just include quotes from the chat, not from him. Like a flipperdoodle. Yes, like a flipperdoodle. So much easier when you're only going through 2 holes, or 2 layers, instead of 3. All right, and there we go. Okay. All the Dark Side quotes for the merch. Yes. Oh, it's just so tight, just the way we like it. Oh my goodness. You guys are nuts. That's one. Right there. That's one. 2. 3. Let's see. What are the kind of joints when you need them? What are the kind of joints you do when you need them to fit together tight? Oh, they're finger. They're tight finger joints. I get choked on the brownies. The tight finger joints. Oh, all of you, you're all dirty. You're all bad. I love every minute of it. Okay, and oh yeah, this is gonna be a lot harder than I thought. Where is that? Those pliers. And this is why you should skive your edges. But I don't have a skiver. Okay, let's pull this back. So you could watch me making mistakes while I'm sewing. I thought this leather would be thin enough that it wouldn't give me much trouble, but looks like, once again, I'm wrong. Well, you live, you learn, right? Actually, if I was able to skive this in skive, you kind of shave down, thin down the leather, so that's thicker in the center, but around the edges you're working and doing your stitching, it's significantly thinner. And they have different tools and stuff for that. But I'm working on a budget right now, and I don't want to break the bank just for a few leatherworking projects. Oh my god, Eileen, for that one you could do an image of a tight finger joint corner. Yeah, just giving you ideas. What does skive mean? Amazon is here. Amazon is here. Oh, the boxes come from me. It makes it easier to puncture. It makes it it looks cleaner, so it doesn't look super bulky. So it's easier. So easy. It looks a little bit cleaner. Works a little bit easier. But I'm still kind of learning some stuff here. A lot of this is trial and error for me, so we're getting there. All right, guys, I got to bounce. Have a great day weekend. All right, see you later, Joe. Thanks for showing up, buddy. I really appreciate it, and I'll hit you up on Facebook when I'm done here, and we'll exchange a few more ideas and pieces of info. Good kid, that Joe. Kid, he's my age. Listen to me talk. Why, thank you, Laura. I appreciate the compliments. I try to be nice to the people who come out and support me. They're good folks, and I appreciate them coming in, and I want them to come again. If I razz y'all too much, you might not come back. Bastard thing didn't have them. Must be coming on a different truck. Oh. Why would you hurt yourself going to get a package, Eileen? Ooh. My phone died. I forgot to plug it in. That's my fault. So we're going to switch over to the other camera real quick. Well, that charges for a bit. And you can see my ugly mug as I'm trying to concentrate on sewing this up. Yeah, at least you didn't pull a Laura. One day when I was leaving the office, Chris was walking me to the car. And I was, yeah, I remember you trip over everything, even when there's nothing, and you ran. Good job, Eileen. Ran down the stairs and slide on my lovely hardwoods. Oh well. That does happen, unfortunately. Shame we don't have a nurse in here who could give you some worldly advice. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to have to get something that makes slightly larger holes here. This is ridiculous. And much larger spacing. Oh, I'm glad it's already propped up. But still, come on, Eileen. You know I'm going to be making fun of you for a good couple weeks now. Michaela's being quiet in the chat. I wonder how the little boy's doing. I chased him down the alley when I realized that my packages weren't on my porch. Eileen added me on Facebook. Awesome. Christmas. New toys I'm getting. No, I wouldn't. I'm a fat man. I don't run very much. And if I'm running, there's someone's in real trouble. I love getting new toys in the mail. I do too, but the most I do is track things online and angrily sip coffee until it gets here. I'm around a woman who's... I missed a few lines here. Just waiting around on one last PS2 game to get here. Got most of them. That's good. Waiting on Dark Cloud. I loved Dark Cloud growing up. Around a woman who has Sensation's feet and just ran on rocks. Sensitive feet. Everyone's having great times with their words. Or sensational. I think she meant sensitive, but we can go with sensational. Give Hermes a run in a foot race? Maybe I should have done more than triple. Here. Sensitive, that's it. Okay. Well. Wonder how many people we still have watching this. Because we are pretty much coming into a close here. I do this stitch line, I do one more, and then hammer it down, do a final trim, and we're done. 5 people. That's still pretty awesome. So I'm gonna say Michaela is not watching right now. 3.5 hours I've been at this, guys. Look at that. It says 7 maybe. 7.5. It really doesn't matter. Well, I mean, it does matter because I need the watch time and I need views and all this other jazz. But I'm still gonna, if it was 1 person or 10 people or 100 people, I'd still give you all the same show. Or at least as best as I can. Master at his craft. I'm a master at making mistakes and inappropriate comments. So we can talk about, you can talk about her however you want, whenever you want. Um, coming up on 3.5 hours. It's awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'm really glad you guys are staying in for so long. This is cool that I can actually hold people's attention like this. Just doing something, you know? She has very, very beautiful hair, my wife. Very long hair, too. I know once my hair kind of gets to about nipple length, I start getting a little antsy and want to chop it off. Hers is, she can sit on her hair. I don't know how she does it. And don't get me wrong, I love long hair on a woman. But, oh boy, that's a lot. Well, see, here's the thing, Kelsey. You can talk about her any which way you want, but after this is done being live, it it goes up as a recording anyways. So shit talk at your own peril. Oh, I'm sure she still hates brushing that hair. It's a lot of hair to brush. No word to lie. But she takes the time. She takes good care of it. Now she has a mile of it to brush through every single day. Yes, she does. Our shenanigans shall be immortalized in Knightsmith database. Yes. So, Star Wars, they had the Sith Eternal was the new thing. So, this is going to be the Knightsmith Eternal, Dark Side Eternal. What are we going to do here? My fingers are going to be so angry with me by the time I'm done with this. Oh boy. So I see your voyeuristic tendencies are coming out there today, Laura. I'm starting to think maybe I shouldn't have had all that coffee. You have many hobbies. Oh boy. Coffee is life. It is. Especially when you have a screaming newborn. It's a secret, and he is vanilla. Ooh. It's playing some music out there. Let me go shut this door. Hope I don't get in trouble with that incidental music. It's a secret. Hue words today. Secret words? I like secrets. Guys, if I don't get this done by 1 o'clock, I'm gonna call it. Come on. Just because my fingers are not enjoying this abuse. Not to say that I won't. Alina, are those painkillers that are making you type this way? Should be fine, was barely audible. Good. I get so worried about stupid stuff getting me demonetized or getting me copyright strikes and all this other jazz that it shouldn't be this way. You know? But I'm going to call this video at 1 o'clock if I'm not done. Let's see. Oh, careful of that grunting, Eileen. Don't want to get into the dark side. Oh, she wants to be in the dark side. I wish it's the lack of sleep in vanilla. Boy walked in and said, "Did you get your packages?" Yes, that's why you were screaming on the ground. You fell down your stairs, right? Oh, you did that for nothing. You got too excited about your packages and they didn't even come. I should have enough, I think. I hope. Poor says all the secrets. Yeah, but Rich is a good kid. He's one of my best friends. He's a good guy. I like Rich. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh jeez. You girls are bad today. Oh my. Well, I hope you like him. You kind of married him, so. Needs to have some sort of some sort of something there. Oh man, we're gonna be in trouble. Yep, you, both of you are gonna be in trouble. Can't blame any of this on me. You're doing this all in the chat yourselves. I don't know what to tell you. No, you gotta like them at least a little bit, at least in the beginning. Don't always have to be like the person you're married. That's why I'm getting. Well, what's our punishment? Oh, jeez. Between 3 and 5. Well, I am definitely going to expect you fangirling about your new package by at least 4:45. Amazon is always early. Even with all this other stuff going on, they've always been quite early. At least in our area. Don't know about you guys. What should vote on this punishment? I'm not getting involved in that. I am not getting involved in that. Like to surprise, don't tell me, just do. Okay. Okay. Can make more rings and have a place to hang them till I sell them. Beautiful. See, that's the kind of discourse I want in here. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Trying to maintain a good, reputable persona. Mostly family friendly. Get more earrings. New leather and larger mats. Awesome. It's always so cool getting commissions, isn't it, Eileen? So cool. Trying to walk back all the dirtiness. So we have a mismatch. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the end of the stitch. I might have to start in the middle again. Well, if that happens, that happens. But, oh boy. Well, there's a reason I give away the prototype. See, I'm excited because they're custom made. I'm tracking some earrings I ordered from Etsy. I'm excited because they're custom made. I don't have pierced ears, so I get clip. Oh, cool. You don't have pierced ears? I never knew that about you. I learned so much about you folks in these live streams. And larger mats are for a graduation sign for the neighbor. She didn't want to buy the $90 sign, so I asked if I could make it because she isn't crafty. Cool. Nope, my body rejects piercings. Interesting. Well, you learn something new about people every day. Pierced 3 times, and the first was at Claire's. Well, see, All right, here's the thing, guys. Never go to those earring shops and get your ears pierced. They're absolutely horrible. Go to a tattoo artist or a piercer. They're trained, they're licensed, and they sterilize everything. Though those beauty shops are just horrible. They don't sterilize properly. And the person piercing your child's ears is a teenager who watched a 5-10 minute training video. I have such a I did the I know you did, but I have such a bug about that because and piercers use actual sharp needles and the right instruments, and those ear piercing guns, they're dull, so they don't do anything, and they rip and tear and just end up hurting little kids, and it's not good. But all right, guys, I think I'm gonna call it here for the day. This is just getting to be too much for me. I've been on here for 2 hours and 45 minutes. My fingers are killing me. So I'm going to finish stitching this up later tonight when I can feel my fingers again. But there you go. So let's try and turn my phone on again, so I can do this the proper way. We'll do the giveaway, and then I'll finish this up tonight and post pictures on Facebook. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry, guys. Dad needs to use the air compressor. I can't feel my fingers. It's just too much. So Droid Cam, stop that. So gorgeous. Thank you. Let the phone get on so I could show you the result of the random number generator in real time. Phone boot up here a little bit more. Well, if you guess the right number, it'll be yours. Let's see. Go to YouTube here. There's 6 people watching. So 20 plus Facebook. Don't care about that. Go to the Googly Goo random number generator. Okay. Let's go to Droid Cam. Turn that on. Start. Okay, let's pull this in. All right, guys, place your numbers. We're going to do 1 to, there's 6 of you in here, so we're going to do 1 to 10. Place your numbers, place your bets. Closest one to the number that it randomly generates wins. I'll give you guys a couple moments here to go against yourselves. So Eileen at 6, Ryan at 7, Kelsey at 10, Laura at 8. Anyone else want to venture a guess? 6 of you in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll give you another minute and a half to try and get in. There, guys, I'll do 4. All right. Anyone else? Okay. Let's go. 8. Laura. Looks like you lost that one. So 7 or 10? 7. Ryan wins. Ryan Knight, as soon as I'm able to get this out, we'll be shipping it out to you. Oh, you didn't see it on here. I did, because I didn't switch the camera like an idiot. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but that is a number 8. So good job, Ryan. Congratulations. And oh boy. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sticking with me through this whole thing. I'm gonna have to go do something about these fingers. They're all red and ouchy. Thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys on Monday morning. Go have lunch. All right, bye. End stream.